fam, that's what they call me.
You are looking at the new trailer for YashaHime, that is the sequel to Inuyasha, one of the best animes out there. An anime loved by everybody, especially people around my generation, people who grew up with this thing. And Inuyasha was a very special type of shonen. It distinguished itself from other animes of the same genre because, there was only one main villain in the whole series. And this Yashahime, I don't know how they're actually going to do this thing, but I have very little hope for it. Now, it could actually be good. I mean, the artwork and the character design, it looks all similar and it actually looks pretty good. Now, the Viz Media actually announced the trailer about a week ago, and the anime is actually set to air for, I think it's October in 2020, but we still don't know if that's actually gonna happen. I mean, a lot of anime has been postponed, so we'll see how that goes. And talking about the character design, it's actually the same character designs from the actual anime. Now you're actually looking at the character designs from the anime. This is Moroha, and this one is Setsuna character design, and the next one is Towa. I don't know how they pronounce it, but and this is an actual still that was released by their Twitter account. So the expectations are kind of high because as I did my research on this, I have actually come to know that the original creator of Inuyasha, Rumiko Takahashi, is actually back to do the character designs for Yashahime. Now, the story is not anything related to her or her works. She is not involved in the story or the script or any of the directorial procedures, but the character design, it's actually from her. So you can see that the new characters are actually kind of similar to the artwork and stuff shown in Inuyasha, and that's because of the original creator actually being involved in the works. So, a little background about this is that the Shonen Weekly Sunday actually had a poster, and a few curious people actually found it, and then the Viz Media actually came forward with the announcement last week. So, this thing was actually set to release in October 2020, but we don't know how that's gonna go because of you know, the whole situation around. Now, a little bit about this anime is that it's actually being produced by Sunrise, and Teruo Sato, if you know him, he's actually directing the anime. And Katsuyuki Sumiwasa is actually in charge of the series scripts. Uh, they've done the same for Inuyasha. Uh, Kaoru Wada is also back from Inuyasha to compose the music. So, all the people that actually worked in Inuyasha, I mean, not all of them, but most of them are actually back with Yashahime. Sunrise is doing their level best to actually make the series a good one. But, I don't have that big an expectation for this series. Now, I'll tell you why. As I've already mentioned, Inuyasha actually distinguishes itself from other shonen m- anime. This is because Inuyasha doesn't have a whole bunch of main antagonists. You see, Inuyasha doesn't have a whole lot of villains. I mean, there are a lot of villains, but the whole journey is about defeating that one main antagonist. You see, Naraku is the villain in the story. And throughout the whole series, it is crystal clear that we have to defeat Naraku. The quest is to defeat Naraku and restore the Shikon Jewel Swords. Now, I've seen a lot of shonen, and I can say with pretty much certainty that Not a lot of shonen actually stick with the main one antagonist storyline. You see, in all the other shonens, what happens is that the main character defeats a villain, and then another stronger villain appears, and the main character goes on a journey to become stronger. And once he powers up, he goes on, defeats the villain, and the cycle continues. A new, stronger villain approaches. This is actually something that every shonen does in one way or the other. And Inuyasha does take inspiration from this. I mean, you have to have a story where the protagonist actually powers up and goes through some character development, but the villain actually stays the same. I mean, not the same, he also powers up, but the villain doesn't disappear from the first arc and then is replaced with somebody else. The villain stays the same. Naraku is the villain. The quest is the same. Inuyasha is on a journey to find himself and be stronger than the villain, to actually take vengeance. I've heard of people actually not liking this, but I'm totally on board with this. I mean, I can totally buy that the whole story is about the main character defeating one person. It's just one quest with no actual repetitive cycles of another stronger character appearing after this one is dead. This actually provides a fresh start for Inuyasha. But we don't know how YashaHime is gonna go. At this point, they only mentioned one villain. I mean, it's weird that they even did that. They say it's a villain that actually Inuyasha slayed, and I don't really remember who this root head is, but this root head apparently gained the power of the 1,000-year-old tree, and now it's a threat. So they're faced with the main characters of the show, who are Moroha, who appears to be the daughter of Kagome and Inuyasha, and weirdly, the main protagonist of the story are Setsuna and Toa, who are actually twins or something, and they are the daughters of Sesshomaru. Who exactly did Sesshomaru have children with? Ren? Because that would be awkward. Well, that's all kind of the information we know, and there are high hopes for this. I mean, being an Inuyasha fan, I have a high hope for this series, but nothing's clear right now, and we can just hope for the best. So, as soon as the anime airs, I'll be back with a video, a first reaction video or something. So, that's it. Goodbye.